Hey guys, welcome back. Part number 6 of my Meng F-18E build series. So we've done almost all the main fuselage, just the last few little bits to take care of now. So this week we're going to focus on the Ordnance and taking care of all the missiles. Tons of stuff in this kit, tons of different options and stuff. And it's kind of nice because you can actually remove them. There's poly caps and pins, so you can actually remove the pylons on the Ordnance and move it around different loads and stuff. Kind of cool, I guess. So let's go ahead and get going with the Ordnance. Hey, so this week we're going to work on the weapons and the Ordnance. So, been busy working the main fuselage, that's in good shape, so now time to work on a bunch of other stuff. So, tons late in this kit, you've seen my review, you've probably seen them all, tons of different weapons. Kind of go over here on the instructions real quick, kind of see what we've got going on. Looks like we've got a mixture of GBU 24s, 16s, AIM 120Cs, AIM 9Ms, and AIM 9Xs. What else? We've got 3 fuel tanks, god that's hard to say, and an AN/ASQ 228 pod. So we're gonna go big, go home. We're gonna go over all of this, but the AIM 9Xs. So, and also only 1 fuel tank, not 3. So, kind of laid them out here, kind of in the order, like from inner pylons outer. So there's tons of stuff going on here. So we've got the GBU 24, GBU 16, the AIM 120Cs, and then on the pylons on the end of the wingtips, we're going to have the sidewinders. There's also one AIM 120C that actually goes on the fuselage on the starboard side, I think it is. And then 1 fuel tank in the center. This is your pod. So lots of different stuff. It's all nicely slide molded. I did check. So I looked at this and I just want to verify the stuff. So I pulled out my handy dandy reference book. Read our publications. And there's a nice page back here where it has listed the pylons and the weapons for each pylon. Do you guys see that? So I checked what I had here in instructions to this book and it matches, so we're good to go. I mean, it is a real kind of loadout. We're really going to load this guy up. So again, this book, read our publications, and you got the ISBN number. Where are we at? There we go. But yeah, if you can, I'll hold it. I don't know how well you can see this, but that's the weapons loadout. So yeah, it matches nicely what the instructions say. So, a lot of work, but at least it's beautifully slide molded, so there's not a ton of cleanup and stuff needed. So I'm just going to go ahead and work through this, get it all built up, get it all assembled, should I say, and then get ready for paint. There's lots of decals as well. So this is almost a model itself. It reminds me, give me flashbacks of my Tamiya 32nd scale F-16, where I spent like 40 hours building just the weapons. So hopefully not so bad this time around. But slide molded, looking good. So yeah, let's go ahead and get going with this. I'll come back once I've got these things built up and we'll talk about the next step. Okay, so it took me about an hour, got them all together, no problem at all, went together beautifully, great detail. These are really like kits in themselves, because not only great detail, but there's tons of decals to go on there and a lot of work. So, like I say, about an hour to get these together. Make sure you put the poly caps in the GBUs. You get the little poly caps right here. Just make sure you put those inside, so that this is part of the system. So on this kit, I think I mentioned it before, the pylons have little pins, metal pins, and these have little rubber poly caps inside, so you can pull off and change loadout. So you can take the missiles off and move them around the pylons, all that kind of stuff, which is kind of neat. So that comes one thing. Another nice thing is neat. The little pod right here, the AN/ASQ 228 has a clear part at the end, and you actually get a mast set. See the little white dots. The actual H and I, see actually on the mask set you get the kit, you actually get the mask for this little pod too. So really cool. So yeah, I'm really liking this kit. It seems really good value too, to be honest with you. Same as Hasegawa, what I paid for it in terms of pricing, actually a little bit cheaper. You get all these weapons, beautiful weapons. You got the mask set, all the rest of it. You can do the flaps down, you can do a wing fold. I mean, there's a couple of options here and there. So it's actually a really nice kit. I'm really enjoying it. And I know they definitely are bringing an F version, because the instructions, if I can find it, where was it? There's something in the instructions about a single, yeah, here it is. So here's the case you're on, right there. Single seat version canopy. So why put that in there if you're not going to do two-seater version? So I'm fully sure there's going to be an F and a Growler coming out, and I will sure be buying them too, because based on this kit so far, it's going together really nice. The panel lines don't look too bad now the paint's on. We'll get a wash on and we'll see how that looks, but so far it's having a blast doing this kit. It's really, really enjoyable. So I guess just going back to this one, I kind of got off a tangent now, so as I do kind of waffle. So these 4 here I can get painted olive drab, the GBUs. These missiles will get painted the light grey, which is going to be XF19, sky grey, which I'm going to use Tamiya. And then the pod and the fuel tank will get painted in the underside of the aircraft, which is the light ghost grey colour. So that's pretty much where we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff painted up, let it dry, and we'll come back and then we'll carry on working on more of the stuff. Righty, so these are the guys that painted up the GBUs in the olive drab, and the end bit there is with the like a lighter green. Wasn't too bad to master, to be honest with you, just mastered the top and the bottom and then across each fin. Did those, painted these guys, which were the, so I have to check my instructions, I totally forgot, the AIM 120Cs. I painted them XF19 light grey, and it's just way too grey still. So what I did was I repainted it. So I went with a mix of XF19 light grey with white, and I went probably 80% white to 20% grey, to be honest with you, to get that kind of lighter colour, which I think looks more realistic, because my pictures now are looking much better. That colour now. Painted the pylons up. Oh, and the seeker heads, the plastic bits right here, I haven't attached them yet, but what I did was on the inside I just missed on some smoke colour, just to get a little bit of tint on them. So any newbies to hobby, whenever you've got clear parts, always paint the back of the plastic on the inside, never paint on the outside of the clear parts, because then you get that nice look, the glass look still, as you can kind of see there. We may not be able to see. So I just need to cut those off with a little PVA glue. I'll hit top the heads of all the ordnance and get that taken care of. One little mistake I had with one of the sidewinders. Remember, I was doing two of a certain type. I lost somehow in the spray booth. I lost a fin off each of them, so I had to cannibalize one. So I got one, and I built the other one as a different missile. So we're going for just checking my instructions here. Look, we're going for one's an AIM 9M and one's a 9X. So I was going for two 9Ms, but that's one where I lost the fin. The fin lost the parts on, so I had to go, like saying, substitute that with an AIM 9X instead. So one of each on the wingtip pylons. But that's pretty much it. I'll paint the pylons, obviously paint it all, and let me show you how kind of this works. Cool, which is cool too. So this is like a push fit into the aircraft. So you don't need to really glue it, but then you have pins. So what you can do then, all these guys have polycaps in when we built them. So all you need to do is you just put this into that, and it sticks in like, and then you just take them off and put them on wherever you want. So you can change the ordnance around. I'm not sure how you would exactly, but if you wanted to, but yeah, I mean, you can switch this, unload it or load it. It's a cool little feature on this. Like I say, it's including the kit, all these weapons and stuff, and it's because the polycaps and the pins, you can just move the stuff around as you see fit. Oh, another thing too is the little pod here, the sniper pod. Remember we got little masks for the clear parts, and they actually came out beautifully. Look how well the masks worked. I don't know if you can see on the light, but took them off and you have that clear part painted around it because it worked perfectly, the mask. So I'm glad you included that. Perfect circle. So that's really where I'm at. So next up is the decals on these guys. I'm going through instructions to find it real quick. There's tons. So there's probably at least 100 between this lot, maybe 150, 200 decals. So I'm going to sit down, as usual, the podcast, and just work from decaling all these now. They've all had a clear coat, a gloss clear coat for the decals. Also, the weapons are typically kind of a little bit shinier too. They're not really matte, I don't think. So, other than GBUs maybe. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all these decals off camera, and we'll come back and see how I go on. Okay, all the pylons and ordnance and everything is decaled, and that's going to be 2 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. God, what thoroughly boring, mind-numbing stuff, but it's done. Yeah, there's so many. I mean, there's over 100 on there, if not more. Now, the thing with this one is there's a few problems with this. Firstly, the pylons, the larger pylons, we have 4 of these. And we use 4 in the aircraft, but they don't give you decals for 2 of them. Okay, next up, this guy, it doesn't give you all the decals. I mean, you got those 2 for the thin, you got no stripe, and you got, I mean, I think I found there's some yellow stripes at the bottom when I used, but there's no markings on there. This one right here, one of these guys on the other side, you got one side of decals, none on the other. So this is a little bit messed up, the decals for the weapons. Not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the aircraft's beautiful, which is the main thing. But yeah, a few little mess ups there. And like I said, the fuel tanks aren't marked with the decals too. I did the War Party ones. I'm not sure if it's accurate or not, but hey, it's what it is. So did that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clear coat them one final time. So the pylons and the fuel tank will get a flat coat. The Ordnance, I'll keep the glossy coats because I think they're like a little bit, what's like a satin kind of coat, I guess, is what we'll do with those. And then we'll come back and then we're pretty much done with this. I think we wrapped it up. So yeah, it kind of let me down a little bit with those decals, but did put on what I could, and yeah, it's pretty much a couple of hours of mind-numbing tying all decals and stuff. But any road, let's go. Let me get this finished off and we can move on. Okay, we're finally done. Wow. Quite a lot of work going into these guys, but I'm glad they're done. So you see, the Hornet carries quite a lot of, well, Super Hornet carries quite a lot of weapons here. So we've got GPUs and all the rest of it going on there. So this is going to be a loadout. You see, I attach the pylons on and core because they have the push fit, so you can just remove them from the pylons, like so, and just switch the loadout, or you can put these back on. Also, these the holes are already pre-drilled for the pylons. And they're pretty good fit, snug fits. I don't think you need to glue the pylons either. I think it's one with click fit. But that's kind of how we're going, pretty much. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to wrap this video up. So next week we'll be back for the final reveal. Just last couple of things to do on the aircraft, and we're done. So it's been a real enjoyable build. Love this one, and same time I'm kind of glad it's coming to the end and we'll move to my next project. But hopefully you guys have a good week, and I'll see you on next Friday. Goodbye.